are you doing? Are you trying to get in the shot? Hello, say hi. Hi. You're gonna wave? You got a cough, don't you? Okay, you stay there. Oh, you want to stand up now? Okay. Yeah. Okay, you sit down. Be a good girl. Is Mummy gonna be able to video? Hello, everyone. It has been a hot minute, hasn't it, since I have videoed. I can't even remember what my last video was. That's how long it has been. I mean, it's been a week, I think. She's trying to... Let's just say Isla is now well and truly on the move. She's reaching up high, trying to get things. At the moment, she wants to get this. That's Mummy's. You've got to leave that, please. That's precious. But the reason why I have decided to set up the camera is to try and kind of film a question, like a Q&A basically. I obviously haven't gone out on social media to ask for certain questions, but I thought I would just think of questions that people ask me all the time whenever they see me, like friends and family, and then like questions that I might want to know if I was following someone that had a 11-month-old, almost 12-month-old, and just like a bit of a catch up and a check in. What do you want? You want your books? Oh, that's nice. So, first question I usually get asked whenever I see friends or speak to family is, how is Isla? Let's just say she's thriving in the sense of she's like developmentally, since starting nursery, she has just learnt so much. She's just stood up then on her own. Look at you go. She's now crawling well and truly. She's standing up on her own. She's able to like sit down from a sitting position pretty much on her own. Missy Moo. And yeah, she's babbling a lot more. Absolutely loving this stage in terms of like her little personality is just shining through. And yeah, she just cracks me up now. In terms of sickness, like, and in health sort of thing. Oh, Isla, no. In terms of her health, she has a cough and has had a cough for like over 2 weeks probably now. That's the joys of nursery, isn't it? So she had, head, foot and mouth before starting nursery. She's been in nursery, it's probably the 6th week. And yeah, she's the last 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks, it'll be the 3rd week, won't it? She's had this cough. But she's literally happy within herself. You're gonna be doing that soon, aren't you? You want that. But yeah, in terms of everything else, she's absolutely thriving, aren't you? Next question will be, how am I? How's Mummy doing? Is Mummy doing okay? I've been back at work now for probably 6 weeks, and it honestly feels like I never left, in all fairness. Like, obviously get along with everyone in my team. I've now got my own kind of campaigns that I'm running and taking responsibility for, which is great. It was good because my manager ensured that I kind of eased back into it and kind of, you know, obviously when you first start working after being on mat leave, your head and your heart is just thinking about your little one, and you're just trying to ease into it. And yeah, my workplace let me do that, which is great. But now I've got my key kind of campaigns that I'm working on, Mama, which is really, really good. Everything else in terms of health, I've got a cough and a cold, same as Isla. I think I'm going to start taking like immunity vitamins to try and just help. Obviously, we're going to be getting sick. It's just what happens when your little ones, you know, start nursery and everything. But yeah, hopefully, we will all feel better soon. Hey. Third question is, how is the mum work-life balance going? And in all seriousness, I just think it's just going to be a constant thing. It doesn't matter whether you're working or not working, like the balance is real. You're constantly juggling the plates, whether you're working or whether you're on mat leave or whether you're able to not go to work financially, in terms of like working for an organisation or Even if you're self-employed, like it's just all about balance. And I don't think that's ever gonna change. I think I'm constantly gonna feel like I'm spinning the plates, and I feel like if I'm succeeding in one area, I'm probably going to be lacking in another. But it's fine. I mean, we're making the most of our weekends. I need to do a food shop. I feel like that's something that every like fortnight it's like, go do the food shop, but I will do that. I tend to do that on Fridays, which is good. But yeah, then if not, do it on the weekend. Hey. But yeah, it's kind of like you finish work, and I generally finish at like 4 o'clock because I start at 8. So like between 4:30 is generally when I finish, and I feel like I'm clocking off before everyone else, but I'm generally clocking on before everyone. But yeah, not that anyone says anything. But like as soon as I finish, it's not chill time, it's go pick up Isla, make sure that she's like full and everything, go take the dog for a walk, take Isla out just in case she's not been outside all day. I'm sure she does, but you know, the weather's been so unpredictable at the moment. And then start like bedtime routine, and then by 7 o'clock, usually 7:30, it's like, okay, we have dinner. So yeah, and then I'm knackered basically. So I feel like I'm starting to read actually a bit more. I've read a couple of books. I've joined the library, haven't we? We've joined the library. We've got a little library card, and Mummy's been getting books from there, which is good. So I've had some Colleen Hoover books, which she's my favourite author at the moment. But I've just picked up 2 more. So we'll see how they go. Next question I usually get asked is, even if it's a stranger, oh, why are you here? Why aren't you living in Australia? Or it's friends and family going, well, do you think you'll ever move? Or do you think you'll ever come back? The bottom line is, I don't know. I really don't know. My partner seems to think that if we do, it will be in like a few years' time. It'll be like when Isla is younger. I thought it might be like by the time she starts school or something like that. But pardon me, see, it's making me choke up. But who knows, honestly. Isla can have dual citizenship, so we can get her an Aussie passport. So you'll be like me, you'll be able to live in both England and Australia easily. But my partner, on the other hand, we would get a partnership visa. Whether we're married or not, it's still the same cost-wise. And yeah, it costs a lot of money. It's a long process. It's not just something where we can decide and then in 6 months' time we're in Australia, which I think makes it harder, because if it takes 2 years, you don't really know where you're going to be in 2 years. Like, will we have another child? I know we won't be married. Yeah, it's just hard to like plan something and then know that it's not happening probably for 2 years. Let's just pull that up, thank you. And then I guess that leads on to another question that I get asked is, have you started wedding planning? And the answer is no. Hey, I think just obviously being on mat leave and returning back to work and kind of getting our heads around that, just financially, just plain and simple, we're not at the point where we can get married tomorrow, or in a few months' time, so, or even like a year. So yeah, just trying not to put any pressure on it. It's obviously meant to be an enjoyable time. I wouldn't say that I feel like a bride to be, which is a shame, and I'm hoping once we start planning, then I will feel like that. I mean, I'm not even wearing my engagement ring. Took it off when I did your bath yesterday, hey. But yeah, it's just like a lot of planning, and obviously me being me, I know once we know how the wedding's gonna be, like whether, like what country it's gonna be, is a big question that we both need to settle on, and what year. We're thinking 2027, that's when we've been together for 10 years, so do we do like 2027? That's obviously in a few years' time, so plenty of time to kind of save. But then the more I think about it, it's like in that time we could want to renovate the house, or want to get another car, or move to Australia, like who knows? So yeah, but we have decided, the only plan that we've made, do you want a nap? only plan we've decided is that we're going to know by the end of the year what country it's going to be in, if it's going to be a big wedding, small wedding, 2 little weddings, a party in one country, the wedding in the other. But yeah, that's what we're deciding. Okay, so your nap time. Let's go have a nap. All right, nap time. All right, Isla is down for her nap. So fingers crossed. She stays asleep for a little while. Next question is, has your relationship changed? So obviously, before having Isla, I kind of thought, oh yeah, like my relationship with my partner will change slightly. I think there were like 2 times when I was pregnant with Isla that I thought, I'm not going to be like his only girl, you know, like, and I didn't get jealous, but I remember saying to him like, oh, like she's going to take up a lot of our attention, like yeah, I just had like a few of those moments, and he was like, well, yeah, of course, but it's going to be like the 3 of us, and it's just going to be a new norm, and it's going to be like 10 times better sort of thing. And although like our relationship has changed, it hasn't as well. I think it's just easy to, we probably bicker a little bit more now. I'm sure everyone bickers, but we never really, like I would never walk away annoyed. And I think there was one time that I did, and he came straight upstairs and like, then we worked it out, you know, but we'd never gone like a period of time where we argued and stopped talking, and that's still not happened, which is great. But I know that I just hold on to things a lot more, and our NCT kind of trainer or member like said to us, and that's a big key of information that Will like kept on to and remembered, was that when you do have a newborn, like you're sleep deprived, you're going to say things and do things that you wouldn't normally do. And I tell you now, there have been times where I have been like, I've pretty much yelled out of frustration and been like a crying, blubbering mess. And there's been times when that's happened that I've like thought, oh my god, like Holly, like when I'm in that moment, I'm like, Holly, just like, imagine how you look like from Will's perspective. Like imagine, like you're crazy, and you do feel a little bit like, ooh, like you just think, but you're sleep deprived and your hormones are messed up. You're having to look after this baby. You don't get any alone time. You don't get time with your partner, you know, like you did before. Everything is just so different. And, you know, the 4 or 5 times that I kind of went off the handle a little bit, like yelling or just like completely just a mess, I look back now and I don't really remember them. I mean, even at the time I was like, whoa, but it's just all a part of it. Nice Barney. And I mean now, like even yesterday, like my partner came home from work and he just said, how can I help? And I ended up thanking him, and I just said, like, I like the way that you did it, like asked me how you can help. It was just so simple and so obvious, but like we are both tired, we are both not very well. Isla's not very well. It has been like a bit of a harder time than like the usual average day or week or whatever. And just him asking me that, I was like, oh, that's everything I needed in that time. And it was as simple as him walking Barney again, because I walked him on my lunch, and just to like get him out of the house, because sometimes Barney's just like, he gets a bit jealous of Isla and he just wants to be seen. And that can be like, I can be playing with Isla and he'll literally just walk in front, like stand in front of Isla, like in the middle of myself and Isla, and he'll just roll over and Isla will be like, and he'll just, and then he'll start whining because he just needs that attention. And I feel obviously so guilty, and I think that's one thing I didn't really think of before having a baby. Like I always said, Barney's my baby, he's our firstborn, you know, that kind of thing. And obviously the love that you have for your pet is just like, you know, infinite, but there is always going to be like a level of guilt because your baby has to come before your dog, like before your pet, you know. Like even though I love them both, Isla is a human. Isla's needs are a lot higher at the moment than poor Barney's. But I mean, he gets 2 walks a day. There's been a handful of times he'll get 1 walk a day. There's been like maybe once or twice when Isla was a newborn that he didn't get a walk. You know, like he's a very happy puppy. He's healthy, gets his health checks done. He's always up to date on all these things. Like he is fine. But yeah, I guess that's one thing I didn't really think of. Like I just thought it would just, I didn't think about it. The only thing I thought about was the initial meeting of Isla and Barney, but it wasn't like the aftermath. And sometimes it does get a bit much, like having a dog, looking after a dog and a baby. Like, yeah, we're definitely not getting 2 dogs, like, for sure. Not unless like Isla's like in high school. But yeah, so I have actually been thinking about like, what's Isla's first, like, when's she gonna come to me and be like, I want a bunny rabbit, or I want a guinea pig, or a bird. And I was very much like that as a kid, sorry. Like, I would just write letters to my parents being like, I really want a pet. So it was first, like, it was gold, it was fish, and then moved on to birds because I love birds. So I'm like, when Isla comes to me wanting a pet, I can't say no. Like, I'm gonna write up a contract and I'm gonna make her sign it, and it's even gonna be like, if this animal is gonna obviously last for a long time, like, you know, if its lifespan is gonna be big, she's gonna have to take responsibility. Like, if she decides to like go to college or, you know, whatever, that she's gonna have to pay, like, if we go on holiday or whatever, she's gonna have to pay, like, go halvesies with us so that we don't have to pay the full cost. Like, I'm gonna have a contract and she's gonna have to sign it, even if she's like 5, and that's gonna be like laminated. I mean, who am I kidding? But yeah, I can't wait. I'm actually really looking forward to that moment, but I'm hoping it's the animal that I would happily have, like, not like a snake or something, you know? Yeah, I'm just imagining, like, fast forward 10 years time to this video of me saying, I hope it's not a snake, and then that's what she wants. Next question I've written down is, how do you find, like, living here in England and being away from family? Because when people know I'm Australian, the first thing they say is, why would you move here? Like, why here? Why wouldn't you, like, get your partner to move there, sort of thing, instantly, because of the weather? And like, it's just, if I had £1 or $1, every time someone asks me that, I will be a rich person. And then the next question, or the next thing that someone says is, oh, I could never do that. I could never, like, be away from family and friends. And going on a tangent now, but when I worked for Guide Dogs, or before I worked for Guide Dogs, I volunteered and did puppy raising, and people would always say, oh, I could never, like, let go of that animal, like, you know, so it can do its training or whatever, like, you know, you form a connection, like, how could you ever, like, abandon it or leave it, blah blah blah. I could never ever do that. And I'm like, once you do, like, when you know that that's gonna happen, like, it's different. Like, you know that that's your puppy raising, and knowing that that puppy is gonna, once it's a year old or whatever, it's gonna go hopefully train and become a guide dog. My tea before it goes cold, it's already like lukewarm. And I mean, I know that's a completely different dynamic to me than moving to England, but I mean, my mum moved from England to Australia when she was younger. I was like a year or 2 older than my mum, I think, when I decided to move to England. I do have family here, and I guess, like, that's exactly what I say to people, like, I haven't left my family and not had any family here. I think it would have been a very different story if I had no family here. I don't know if I would have done it. I mean, I would have maybe, like, come over here and seen how it went with my partner, and then I don't know what would have happened. But I think knowing that I've got, like, grandparents here, like aunts and uncles here, cousins here, I've got, like, niece and nephews here, like, I think that helps the whole situation. But yeah, if I didn't have that, I don't know if I could have done it. And I think that's, like, okay to admit. I mean, I probably would have done it and moved over here, because I think I always wanted to move to England, because I could have dual citizenship. So I've got a British passport and Australian passport. But yeah, if I didn't have that, then maybe I wouldn't have. But yeah, I travelled around England when I was 21, I'm gonna say, and then about 2 years later, was that when, 2 years later, that's when I met my partner, when I came here again for my cousin's wedding and was a bridesmaid. So yeah, it's fine. I mean, I got homesick obviously a lot when I first moved out here, bearing in mind it was the first time I'd properly moved, like, lived away from my parents. Before I moved here, I was going to be moving with a friend, and I kind of, like, had all my stuff there, came on holiday, and then was meant to kind of find a job and officially move in with her. And then I met Will, so he kind of ruined all of that, and instead I moved all across the other side of the world, which is insane because I was only, was I 23? I think I turned 23 I think when I met my partner when I was 22, but it was my birthday when I came over here. So yeah, I was 23 when I moved to England, and yeah, I got homesick. And even now, like, obviously I miss my family, but it's like not as, it doesn't like cripple me in a sense. Like when I first moved to England, I was working at the co-op, no, not bagging out co-op, but obviously I didn't really want, that wasn't my career. I was still at uni, doing uni online, adjusting to living away from everything that I ever knew, living with my partner and his mates. And I remember just missing like adults, which sounds really strange, but I went from an environment where like I grew up with lots of family friends, so lots of friends of my parents. They were like aunties and uncles, I guess, and like just constantly being around older people as well as like people my age. But I missed having adults, and I remember being like to Will, let's go to see your parents, because I just needed adults. Like I felt like I needed someone looking out for me that was older, I don't know, it's bizarre. But yeah, I remember feeling like that. And then I have felt a little bit upset at times since coming back from Australia. When Isla was 4 months old, so I was there for, I think it was 8 or 9, I think it was 9 weeks in total. And obviously that's a long time to kind of go back into your normal routine, not normal routine, but like normal life, in the sense of being in your home, family home that you grew up in, being around your mum and dad and your sister all the time, and your brother coming over with your niece, and your like sister-in-law, and then like having Christmas and birthdays and celebrating our engagement with all our friends, and it was just a lot, and I loved it. And I have friends that have kids, and it was just lovely just melting into life with them and seeing what it would be like to live in Australia. And I did think that if we were going to move, that might like kind of spark it, but we've just got a lot of friends here as well that have children. And don't get me wrong, like the lifestyle in Australia, like I know my partner and I would always go to the city, like in Sydney, and with the kids, and we'd always go to the beach for half a day or a day. Like I want to be that family that has the full kit, that you can go to the beach and have the gazebo-y thing and set it up, and have your just like all the things that you can just stay at the beach all day, like playing, and like cricket outside, like beach cricket. And yeah, I think I do miss the lifestyle in terms of like being able to be outside all the time. Like you do travel more in Australia, like it's just standard to just have to travel a bit to go places. And yeah, I do think maybe if we go to Oz when Isla's like that little bit older and see how she like is out there, like that might like spark something in us to be like, like, do we do it? And I've been watching someone on YouTube, which I'm sure like everyone knows, Elle Swift. She's recently moved to Houston, and I'm like, like I'm not, am I spontaneous? I don't know. I am someone who like why not uproot our life? Like why not? Like it'd be so fun, like stressful. But I think because I've moved obviously to England, then my partner and I moved to Australia for a year. So my partner did a working holiday visa, and I'm so glad we did that. That was awesome. Like, and my partner loves Australia. It's like, do we just do a big move? Do we just do it like for a bit of adventure, Like, am I sick of the mundane, like standard life, like Groundhog Day, like, I don't know, does anyone else get that? Like, let's just go do something crazy. But then do I want it? Because I love my house, I love where I live, I love my job, like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what would happen. Like, maybe I should film it. Like, if my partner, like to sit down, sometimes I'll be on the lounge like, Will, and be like, what? And the other day I was like, whoa, we're just sitting on the lounge and we're watching Is it Big Daddy? Where it's like Adam Sandler and the little dude. And I used to watch that film over and over and over again when I was younger. So I was like, let's watch that. And I said, because obviously it's about fostering and stuff. I said, what would you think, like, if ever I wanted to start, like, become a surrogate, like, because I think if we're fortunate enough to have another baby, we'd like to have another one. But I was like, what if I'm, like, not done, in the sense of I like the feeling of being pregnant, but you know, maybe if I have another one, it won't be as like nice or whatever, like won't be as smooth sailing, or you know, I just won't like enjoy it as much, you know. I was like, wouldn't that be amazing, like to give that gift to someone, you know, just be a surrogate? And then I was like, what about, like, what would you say? And he's like, oh, I don't know, like it's a really like big question to ask, like you can't just kind of answer it in one, you know, sitting. And what about fostering, you know, like imagine that. And he was like, and so maybe I should just put the camera somewhere and just be like, well, I really want to talk to you. I think let's just make the move. And it doesn't even have to be Australia. Let's just go. I'll be friends with Elle and let's go to Houston. I mean, I've been saying to Elle since watching her movies, I'm like, oh, I want to try all the food, and oh my gosh, all the parks look amazing. Like, I can just see Isla loving that. But no, like in all seriousness, I've only been to New York. Like I've never really had that, like, and obviously going to America will be a lot harder than moving to Australia. But in all seriousness, like, yeah, you just want like that zest for life, you know, just a big old change just to stir the pot, because we don't have enough on our hands, you know. I'm talking about like spinning all these plates. Let's just add like a massive bowl of chaos. I'm going on a tangent. I mean, other questions. What else have I written? Are we going to have another baby? I mean, perhaps, but no, not anytime soon, you know? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if my partner said, oh Holly, like, do you want to? Like, what are your thoughts? I might be like, but he's not a firm no. Well, he's a firm no at the moment. Like, he's just like, oh, but I'm sure if I was like, oh, but I really feel ready, it'd be different, you know. But it's just been casual conversations at the moment, and I'm happy for this year not to be pregnant, and then we shall reevaluate at some point. But yeah, this year, happy to just get used to being back at work, enjoy Isla's first birthday, and just financially, we just need to be maybe in a better position as well. I mean, I don't want to say like money's everything, but you know, like it costs money to have children. So yeah, I think I just want to enjoy this time. And I guess when I do think about having another one, I think, oh, like, it is nice to just kind of have that one-on-one time with Isla at the moment. But it's also like, oh, you got all the stuff, like, why not? But yeah, at the moment, 2024, no babies, just Isla. I'm happy with that. And then 2025, who bloody knows? But at the moment, yeah, conversations are not being had, and we've got enough on our plates, spinning all the plates. Yeah, so that's that. In fairness though, I've not had anyone necessarily say like, are you gonna have one yet? Are you gonna start trying? Like, I've not had that, which I see the reels and everything on Instagram and on TikTok and stuff, like with people being like, just gotten out of like the newborn stage, or like my baby's not even a year old yet and I'm getting all these questions like, when are we gonna, and I've not had like anyone do that, which is good. Maybe that's more of a negative. Maybe people are going, guys, you've got enough, like you're struggling already, like don't even go there. But no, like it's good. Not that I'd like be offended, but I think it's just a question that you've got to be really careful about, because you don't know how long it's taken, you know, that family to have that child, and you don't know, again, like once the child's here, you don't know like the difficulties or the struggles that they may have had with a newborn, and just adjusting to life. So yeah, I think I'm happy to just, what are you doing? Barney's just like pricked his ears up, like he's heard something that I haven't. Alright, so that concludes this vlog of me basically just waffling on and on and on and on and on about nothing. No, you know, just a little catch up, just asking myself questions that people tend to ask me whenever I talk to them. But yeah, gosh, it's been a while. I just thought I would, I feel like my voice is going. I've spoken that much, but yeah, I promise I am going to try and get back into the whole vlogging. I just think once you stop, because of life, it's hard to then kind of start back up. But yeah, I promise going to, we've got a lot of fun things happening in terms of Isla's first birthday. So I think my next video might be Temu haul with all her birthday stuff, which is really exciting. But if you stayed this long, that's fantastic. If you have, you definitely have to subscribe. Please like and please comment, all right? If there's anything I've said that you're like, what? Or you agree with, or you think, come on, Holly, sort yourself out. Comment below, please. Please, please, please. All right, I'll speak to you all soon. Bye.